Hello, folks. Back from vacation. We're out at the forge again. Already put in a pretty good day out here, but gonna try to do one last little project here. About, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe, my mama told me I should make a knife with a handle shaped like a fish. And since we just came back from vacation and caught a lot of fish, and since when your 70-something-year-old mama tells you should do something, you should probably do it. Today, we're going to work on trying to make a little knife with a handle shaped like a fish. I've got a piece of 1084 high carbon, 3/16 thick as our starting stock. Probably going to be putting a lot more time and attention on the handle than I am the blade this time. I'm sure I'm going to end up having to use the hardy cutter and cut the blade off a little bit. But anyway, I've never tried anything like this before. I've made eagle's heads for knife pommels. I've done some animal effigy work, you could say, on the handles. Bears, eagle's heads, things like that. But I've never done a fish, so we're going to give it a shot and see what happens. All right, we're going to start out by offsetting here at the back of the blade, and you can see I'm working it from both sides. What I want is a V on each side, and this is going to be the hilt of the blade and also the fish's tail. And it's going to take a couple of heats here. It's been a while since I've done any kind of work like this, so I'm kind of taking my time. To draw it out just a little longer. I want the back of the handle, I want where it tapers down to the tail to be pretty thin. So let's thin it out a little more. Make sure we keep our width even. That's not too bad. Yep. Just kind of even things up a little bit. Now we're going to go to the horn of the anvil and put a little curve in it. Now I know this curve that I'm putting in now is going to straighten out later, and we'll have to put it in again, but I just want to see how it's going to look. And I believe I'm going to be pretty well satisfied with this. But have to tickle around with it a little bit to get it where I want it. It's not going to be too bad. For the fishtail, now I'm just figuring out how long I want the handle, because now we're going to make a mark where we want our handle to blade transition. There's our mark. This is going to have sort of a semi-integral guard. First, we're going to knock in what's going to be the front of the fish. The belly going up around the head. The length was pretty good. And here I'm about to make a filming mistake. No, not this time. I'll make a filming mistake directly. You'll see it anyway. So now I'm offsetting what's actually going to be the blade, leaving a little bit of the integral guard hanging down. And we're going to thin that out and bring everything down to the same width, the same thickness. I believe that's going to do pretty good. And we'll get ready and we'll just whip the blade off a little shorter because I had too much starting stock. So I'm cutting it on an angle from spine to tip. Save me from going through the trouble of doing the forging. Get the hardie cutter out of the way and let's move this hot piece of iron. Quench it off. Get it out of the way before somebody gets burned. Here's my camera mistake. Sorry I didn't recenter the camera. I was just sort of all into what I was doing. But as you can see, I'm forging the tip out, drawing the tip out. Want it to be pretty long and have a really gradual taper. I want my taper to start right in front of the handle. I'm hoping to have a little bit of a sweeping curve in the blade, not a great deal, just enough to add a little interest to the profile of the knife. Anyway, so there we've drawn it out pretty thin. Pretty happy with that. Gonna knock in a reverse curve. As I've done that in my other videos, if you've watched those, you know that that's to keep the blade a little straighter, so that now while I'm hammering in the bevels, the steel being pinched between the hammer and anvil actually pushes out and expands and will straighten that reverse curve out. As a matter of fact, if I go far enough, and I intend to go far enough, it's actually going to push that reverse curve in the opposite direction and give the blade a little curve up toward the spine, but without too much curve toward the spine. And you can see now I almost have a clip point shape to the blade. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And we're just going to kind of even things out a little bit. Make sure everything is nice and straight. Get out what hammer marks we can. That's actually looking pretty good. Yep, I'm satisfied with that blade. Now we need to add just a little more curve to the fish's tail. Give the knife a little more flair. And there we go. It's going to be our basic shape. Cleaned it up just a hair on the grinder, really not much at all. That's going to be the tail. We'll come up around there for the fish's head. We'll put his eye right about there. Gills. I'll carve the wood on the handle. It's going to be a pretty neat little blade, I do believe. Mama should be happy. All right, so that's going to be it for today. Here we are. Cleaned up the profile a little bit. Really didn't need much cleanup at all. Came out pretty good. Hope you enjoyed the video. I apologize, maybe some of it came out off center because, well, been on vacation. Didn't even think to move the camera back, so blame that on me. Anyway, thanks for watching, if you still are. Be sure and hit that like button, subscribe button. Give us a comment in the comment section. Very much appreciate your support. God bless and have a great day.